Welcome, Waddlers. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Christian, and today we're calling out one of pregnancy's biggest scams.
Morning sickness.
Because if it happened in the morning, this episode would not exist.
Instead, it shows up whenever it wants, morning, night, all day, or not at all.
And whichever version you get, today's reminder is simple. You're normal. don't like the way I'm talking today. I'm like, ugh. Okay, Alicia, when did nausea first hit you?
I would say for each of my pregnancies, it hit as soon as the stick said I was pregnant.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Were you always pretty early in pregnancy?
I found out with my second, third, and fourth around 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
Dang. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, it was that the morning sickness just came on. They're like, there's no way that nobody's going to know you're pregnant. So, but I will say my second pregnancy was during COVID. So a lot of people could have had the same symptoms of COVID during that time. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did too. So, nausea for me hit around 6 weeks as well. At that point, I had known for a good while, though, because I, am a weirdo, and I know I'm pregnant pretty much from the time it happens. So, yeah.
was it anything like you expected it would be?
Not at all. Morning sickness was honestly wild. I was constantly stuck in a vicious cycle of being so hungry my stomach hurt, but then feeling too nauseous to eat, only to
Mm.
feel even more nauseous because I hadn't eaten. Opening the fridge felt like an extreme sport. How fast can I grab the blueberries before a random smell makes me gag? And the gagging came out of nowhere. I'd be mid-sentence, literally mid-sentence, and all of a sudden I'd be on a full-on gag, like for no reason at all. Even just thinking about certain foods was enough to make my stomach turn. It was ridiculous. Like, I'm not kidding. I remember one time I was just sitting there talking to Josh, and it was a beautiful day, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Ooh, ooh," and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And he's like one of those people who think gagging is hysterical, and I was like, "You better if you laugh, it will be the end of you."
So, was there a food that made you sick during pregnancy that you loved before pregnancy that now you cannot tolerate, you can't stomach because it made you so sick?
I would say with my second, I couldn't drink coffee or eat bacon, which that's just a sad life that I just don't wanna live. But, yeah, I couldn't eat bacon, and it was really sad.
I
What
still
about
have
you?
trouble eating French toast. Mhm.
I
I
simply
will want it. I will make it for my kids, but there's sometimes where I'll eat it and I'll just remember and I'll start gagging.
I simply would not survive. I
Mm,
love French toast, but
yeah.
I also make it with, my sourdough bread, which is really good.
Mm. I've made croutons with my sourdough bread.
There's no single version of morning sickness waddlers. Okay, and that's where so much confusion starts, is that everybody thinks that morning sickness is like the same, like cut and dry thing. It's not like that. Some people wake up with nausea and feel better by lunch. Some people feel fine all day and then nighttime ruins everything. Some people are nauseous constantly, no breaks. Personally, it starts slow with me, so it starts in the mornings for me. And then it like switches to nighttime, and so I'm like, "Okay, we'll just go to bed early," and I find that the more tired I am, the more sick I feel. What about you, Alicia? Did yours come in like a pattern?
Mm, no, I was pretty much with 2 of my pregnancies, I was sick all day long for 13 weeks. And
Dang.
then with my daughter, it was just in the morning.
So it
So,
just hit you like a rock?
mhm. And with my second pregnancy, I could not eat anything that had potatoes in it. No french fries, nothing. It would all make me sick. My third pregnancy, all I could eat was potatoes. Anything besides potatoes made me sick. And then with my daughter, I could eat everything. So,
So the nausea just, like, was constant, it wasn't like it didn't feel random?
no, it was all the time.
Mm.
It didn't stop. Yeah, it was at 13 weeks because with both of my second and third, my doctor told me that because I lost 13 pounds with both of them in the first trimester, and they told me that if I didn't start gaining weight in the next few days and start eating, they were gonna admit me in the hospital and put me on an IV because they could see in my lips that I was dehydrated. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it was pretty vicious. I was for me, um, nausea was the worst part of my pregnancy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. In fact, um, a lot of the reason I felt so upset about being pregnant with my 5th child was because of the nausea with my 4th. I
Mhm.
had never been sick my entire pregnancy, but my 4th baby, I was so sick that I was like, I don't wanna say malnourished, but I had stayed really tiny my whole pregnancy, so I was not happy about getting pregnant again because I was scared I was gonna be sick my whole pregnancy again. So, I just wanted to tell you that some people are nauseous constantly, no breaks, no pattern, and some people don't get sick at all. And the last one, that does not mean something's wrong. Symptoms do not measure how pregnant you are, they do not predict outcomes, and they are not a scoreboard. Comparison is what makes this harder than it needs to be. Your pregnancy does not like your pregnancy does not need to be like anybody else's to be valid.
Agreed. Everybody's journey is different.
Totally different. I remember my sister-in-law when she was pregnant, she like, every week, we would talk, and I would tell her, "Oh, I just got done having a baby," and she had just started her 1st pregnancy, and I was like, "Well, that morning sickness, man, it just hits like a rock," and I would say she never got him, and I was like, "I just want you to know I do hate you a little bit. I do. What's it like being God's favorite?"
Yeah.
You know? What's that like? 'Cause with every single one of my children, I had a varying degree of morning sickness.
See, I always wonder if it was different if you're pregnant with boys versus girls, like how your morning sickness is.
I always heard that with girls, you're sicker.
Mm,
I think that's an old wives' tale, though, because, my sister, she had a boy, and she said she was pretty sick her whole pregnancy.
mhm. I mean, I wasn't sick my whole pregnancy. I feel like it was just I was just ready for 2nd trimester because I knew
Yeah.
that it got better.
I definitely had the glow in the 2nd trimester. I had, like, all the energy, and I felt great, so I had the glow. It was awesome.
So, the good news is we do have something that explains a lot of the 1st trimester nausea, which is low blood sugar, which is incredibly rude, by the way,
So
because
rude.
because nausea makes you not want to eat, and then not eating makes you more nauseous. That's why eating before you even get out of bed helps you so much. Not a full meal, nothing fancy, something small like crackers, granola bar, some fruit snacks, thing a Gatorade, a juice box, something to just get your blood sugar up so that you can start going. You're not trying to fuel your whole day. You're just stabilizing your system. That boost tells your nervous system, "Hey, we're okay. No emergency." That's also why small frequent snacks throughout the day help so many people and it keeps your body from crashing. And crashing is when nausea hits hard.
It does. Something that helped me, when I was nauseous, I will say I felt the best when I could get as much protein in as I can. And I think that's a good rule of thumb anyways, like breastfeeding, you wanna have
Mhm.
a lot of protein. And that's something I literally learned with my 5th pregnancy. It took me 5 kids to learn that, so
Yeah. Didn't you say that, you used to eat a lot of ice chips in your 1st trimester? No?
I did. I went to Sonic, and I would get ice from Sonic.
Were you anemic?
No.
No. You didn't
No,
crave it, you just it
I
was
sucked on 'em, like, I didn't chew
mhm,
on it. It wasn't like a craving. It was more of I was just trying to eat more ice, and so or eat more drink more water. You don't eat water, you drink it, and, so I was trying to drink more water, so I would get the Sonic ice, and
mhm.
it was very helpful.
So, I'm a really bad person at drinking water. I You can't get me to drink water. I'm better at giving you advice. Telling
Yeah,
me to take my own advice is not gonna happen. But I did know that I needed to drink at least 64 ounces of water a day. So what I did is every morning I would go to Sonic and I would get their Route 44 and I would fill it up with ice and water and I would put their fruit syrup in it, whether it was cranberry or cherry or something. And if I drank all that and the ice went down, at least I knew I got my 64 ounces of water that day. So did the cranberries and cranberry does the dual because you're
yeah, 'cause
flushing
it
out your system. So
yeah, it's good for you.
knocked out. kidney stones or UTIs.
Yes, keep the V healthy.
Yeah.
So, did nausea hit hardest for you on an empty stomach?
I feel like with my boys, it's really hard to tell because I couldn't keep anything down for 13 weeks. I remember being so angry and hungry and mad that I would
Yeah.
just start crying when people were eating in front of me because I was so hungry. And if you were eating in front of me and enjoying your food, I did not think any positive thoughts for you at all. I was just hungry and I was mad. And I just
You
remember
were
one time
hangry?
I was hangry, like, it was bad. Like, I just remember oh, yeah. I remember one time my dad came over and I was just sitting there crying and he was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, I'm hungry." And he goes, "Why didn't you call me?" I was like, "I don't wanna talk to you, I wanna eat." Like, so bad.
That's very funny.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
horrible. But once
Being
I could start eating, I didn't stop.
Yeah, the pregnancy hunger is pretty vicious. I think the only thing that trumps, like, the pregnancy hunger is
Breastfeeding
breastfeeding
hunger.
hunger.
I think my breastfeeding hunger was worse.
Way worse. I gained
Mhm,
so when Noah was born and I was breastfeeding, I truly could not stop eating.
mhm.
I've never felt that kind of, like
Yeah, it's crazy
yeah.
because you think that the cravings go away.
Well,
It doesn't.
no, I agree. It doesn't go away. Did eating something small help your stomach, even if it was just for, even if it sounded awful at the time?
Are you meaning if did I take the advice before I gave it?
That's exactly what I'm
Um,
asking. Alicia, tell us how you really feel.
so I would make my husband go get me, blue raspberry slushies from Sonic, and I would put it in my Yeti cup and put it by the table of our bed, and when I woke up, I would drink that.
Okay.
So that was, like, the one of the only things I keep down. Blue raspberry was just my go-to every time I was pregnant. It was so bad that I would order it in bulk off of Amazon, the Airheads.
Yeah.
But I that's, like, probably the only thing I would eat getting up. Keep putting food down, I think I just would f I forget to eat. I mean, to be honest, I forget to eat half the time, so
Yeah.
but, I would say it probably did boost my blood sugar because it's a slushy, so
Yeah. It helped.
did you eat before you get up?
I tried to. I tried to keep, like, crackers by the bed, but I feel like you do what you can in the first trimester, like, it's truly just about survival, so I would try to keep water next to my table, but I was so dehydrated just because I didn't feel good that I wouldn't I wouldn't be able to eat the crackers because my mouth was so dry.
Mhm.
So, like, I would eat them and I'd be like, "Damn, there's the Sahara Desert in my mouth right now." Like, that's how dry my mouth is, and the crackers just obviously made that worse. Alright, so let's talk about the first trimester. This is a survival trimester, waddlers, okay? What that means is eat what you can tolerate, that's it. That's the rule. If it stays down, it counts. Bland food count. Cold food counts. Random cravings that make no sense absolutely count. Your job right now is not to eat perfectly. Your job is to get through the day. This is not the time for food guilt. This is not the time for nutrition Olympics, especially if you have many kids. I have like 100. So, what foods unexpectedly worked for you?
Takis with pickle juice.
That is like the most random thing. Did you have a craving for it?
No. To be honest, I saw somebody on TikTok that was going through they wrote down pregnancy cravings that they heard and they
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
try it, and they did the Takis and pickle juice, and I was like, "Hmm," and so I tried it, and I ate it almost every day.
Hey,
I still like it, it's still pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, and then yeah,
I know I've said this before, but my first is made of Cheetos. That was like one of the only things I could keep down. So, that's what I eat.
well, my daughter was probably made of In-N-Out burgers, and at that point, I had never had In-N-Out burgers, but for some reason, I knew I needed it, and I had that craving at 2 AM, and I woke up at 8, and I was very upset that they still were not open, so by the time their doors are unlocked, my husband was there to
That's
grab me
funny.
In-N-Out burgers.
Poor Tim.
I know. He came back with 4 of 'em.
Smart guy.
So what, foods worked for you?
Pretty much just Cheetos. Really nothing worked for me with Noelle, which was my hardest pregnancy, but I will say my 4th pregnancy, when I started to prioritize the protein, it did help.
Okay, Waddlers, let's talk tools
Yeah.
because just eating crackers is not enough, and sometimes it's just enough to piss you off.
It does piss you off too, because 'cause you'll, like, take a bite and it's like Sahara Desert in there. Seriously. And there's many forms of hell, that is one. What is going on? I don't know what's happening to my camera.
Okay, a common starting point for a lot of providers is Unisom B6. It is not a prescription, you can actually get it over the counter. Unisom is a sleeping agent, so you would find it in the sleeping aisle. It's used as an antiemetic, so that's what happens to bind your nausea.
I'm gonna say something about that really quick. Oh, it does matter which Unisom you get. It really does. So I'm gonna look it up while she finishes what she's saying because it is very important to get the right Unisom. Because I did it like 3 pregnancies and I'm like, this ish does not work. But it does if you're using the right one. So I will tell
Ye
you which one.
It's usually the tablet.
Fucking me.
Okay, so the
I'm not
Unisom B6. So the Unisom, again,
I'm
it is a
sorry.
sleeping agent, so sometimes it'll make you pass out, sometimes it doesn't. With one pregnancy, the Unisom B6 together gave me a bunch of energy. With one pregnancy, it made me pass out. So, I would definitely, if you've got little kids at home, I would take okay, so Unisom and B6. Unisom is a sleeping aid, so it's used as an antiemetic, so that's how it will help with the nausea. They are both over the counter. If you ever have questions about which one is okay for you to take, ask your pharmacist. They can help you with that. I did not personally did not feel comfortable taking the full dosage of Unisom, so when I got the tablet, I cut it in half. That's just what made
That's
me
how
feel
I
better.
started with it too.
Yeah.
I started with a half and worked my way up. It
It looks
looks
like
like this.
yes, that's it. So it's the tablets.
Yeah, and it needs to be sleep tablets. It's a dioxoline something,
Mhm.
something. I'm not even
Yep,
gonna try.
so it's right your pharmacist will be able to tell you which one it is. Sometimes it'll make you go to sleep, sometimes it will not.
It
I
made
will
me sleep.
always suggest yeah, one
I took it on
pregnancy
so here okay, I'm gonna tell people because this is what saved my life because I didn't understand the whole here's the system. You take them at night with your prenatals and the Unisom, okay? You start with a half a tablet, and then when your nausea gets worse, you take more. I think I got up to a tablet and a half, and on the days I really couldn't take it anymore, I would take a, what's that nausea medicine?
Zofran.
Yeah, I would take the Zofran because
Because
I
I got
got 100 kids.
yeah, I would take the Unisom at night, but I would take the B6 in the morning because the B6 would give you that boost of energy. But then one pregnancy, I took them both in the morning. I will say it was a complete game changer for me because when I could not eat, I would take that Unisom and I could not stop eating. So
Nice.
I was starving so much that when I was finally able to eat, I did it. But like I said, talk to your provider. Usually they all tell you to take it. Some providers will even tell you to take Benadryl. Personally, I'm not a big advocate. I'm not a big on taking Benadryl because me personally, Benadryl makes me pass out,
Yeah.
and I am not comfortable taking something that's gonna make me fall asleep with my kids.
That's how it was
Um,
for me, though. Even with the
yeah.
so the promethazine and the Zofran both make me pass out. So, I mean, I if I had to take it, I was pretty desperate. So
So the Zofran and the promethazine, that's something that your doctor will give to you. Generally, they'll give you Zofran first, but then if you're actively throwing up and you can't get to stop, that is when they'll give you the promethazine. In my experience, every time I've given one of my patients promethazine, they've always passed out. That's why I don't like taking anything that's going to alter me to be able to care for my kids more than I already can. So just when you get this medication, just be mindful. And if you do have small kids, just make sure you have somebody there that can help you because I would never want you to fall asleep to where, you've got small kids running around. That's why I would not take promethazine. But if you've got, your spouse there or somebody there that can, take care of the household while you zonk out for a few hours, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people don't like taking medication at all. Some people like going more the homeopathic route, and that's completely fine.
yeah.
They find things that work. So sometimes the ginger tea will work, other ginger candies. Sometimes
Peppermint gum helped me,
yeah,
as well as, like, there's, like, a sniff thing that's, like,
right.
an anti-nausea, like a sniff stick, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm, yeah.
That helped me probably the most, like, it was pretty shocking, like, so I'd start feeling nauseous, and then I'd smell that, like, I'd put it in my nose and I'd smell it, and it would help a ton.
Probably the thing that they, use for motion sickness.
Probably.
Because I
It
know
says for nausea.
yeah,
I think it
so
was, like,
they
$6 on Amazon.
I know they make, like, those little bands that go on your pressure points that will help, I know that they make stuff for, like, when you're flying and stuff,
Yeah.
and I know one of them is, like, something you can smell,
Yeah.
also, what you would not expect to help is alcohol prep pads.
Yeah.
If you just crack that thing open and you smell it, it almost takes away the nausea almost instantly. I mean, it does come back, but it kinda gives you that little bit of relief, um
Alicia one time saved my life with an alcohol prep pad. She did. Like, I was finding out I went to her 'cause they have an ultrasound studio, and I went to her to find out what my baby was, and I didn't believe her when she told me it was another girl. Anyways, that's another story. But I was like, "Alicia, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna puke." And she looks at me and she goes, "Here, smell this." And I was like, "Oh," you know?
she's like, "What are you doing?"
I'm like, "Alright." I'm desperate. And it worked. It helped me a little bit. I would say that the sniff stick helped me probably the
Mhm.
most. I had
Yeah,
those suckers
especially when you're in
stashed
the
up.
car,
Yeah.
take it with you. When I was pregnant with my 2nd son, that was one of the only things that helped me because at that time, I was still actively a paramedic, and we drive backwards all the time. So, driving backwards and being nauseous was just horrible, so I would
Yeah.
just be sitting there like, I probably looked like a crackhead because I'm like I would find, like, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and I'd rub my hands on and go so I walk away because I was like, I had to do something, so yeah, a lot of people, they don't realize that the alcohol prep pads help, and then, they come in and we tell them we send them to Walgreens, so
Yeah.
if your Walgreens is out of stock, that's why.
It's the only pregnancy-approved alcohol. Sorry.
It is. When you're done being pregnant, we'll give you the wine.
So, smelling that, like, stuff, whether it be the alcohol prep pads or I'm pretty sure it's just like a peppermint mixture of things
Mhm.
or, like, there's another thing in there too that helps.
My mom did tell me that you could put, like, peppermint oil on the back of your ears, something like that. I've never tried that, but I know that's more of another homeopathic way.
Mhm.
I never really got big into essential oils, but she did say you could put, like, behind like, your earlobes or something like that, and it helps with nausea.
Yeah, like on the pressure point behind your
Yeah.
ear. I've
Okay.
done that before with other things, not nausea related. So, smelling them can interrupt your nausea signals, though. For some people, it can help. No
Mhm.
drinking, just sniffing.
Yeah,
Don't get
don't get creative
creative.
here. Cold foods, avoiding strong smells, and eating before hunger hits. These small changes don't sound dramatic, but they're enough to help.
Were you hesitant to use medication?
Yes.
You were?
Yes. Well, only because I got COVID with each one of my pregnancies,
Mm.
but during my 2nd pregnancy is when I got COVID, so the first time, and I was really afraid of putting anything into my body because I wasn't sure how
How I'd
COVID
react?
affected. Yeah, so that was the only reason why I was a little hesitant because I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. So I just anything that could potentially keep me from being able to take care of my kids, I'm always very hesitant on it. But I mean, I will recommend it. You will not see me recommend promethazine or Zofran unless you're at a hospital probably.
So, I don't wanna call myself crunchy, but I would say I'm pretty, like, hesitant to take medication, especially while I'm pregnant, but being pregnant and having other kids had me popping Zofran like it was
Mhm.
nobody's business.
I completely understand. I remember I was on shift one time and my partner gave me Zofran. So I mean, it does work. I think I was just more hesitant because of the time when I was
Yeah,
pregnant. If I wasn't maybe if it wasn't that time, maybe I wouldn't. Because my 3rd and 4th pregnancy, it didn't really bother me. I think it's because my 2nd one felt like just like a first time pregnancy. I
yeah,
think I just had those first time pregnancy jitters.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
with my 2nd and 3rd,
Especially with what happened with your first and everything, I'm sure
yeah,
it felt like a little, like,
yeah, because I
stressful.
I think I did everything wrong with my first so
You didn't. How can you do anything wrong if you didn't know anything about it? You know what I'm saying?
I know, but if you look back, I just remember, like, because I used to take, like, ibuprofen for menstrual cycle cramps and stuff and
Alicia, you
headache.
do the best that you can with the knowledge you have at the time, so we're not gonna live in the past, and we're gonna move on.
She's my therapist.
Okay, what do you wish somebody would've told you sooner?
That it's okay to cry when you're hungry.
I wish somebody would've told me the proper way to take Unisom because I was like, "How the heck am I supposed?" Because Unisom knocks me out like, Benadryl does.
Mhm,
How in the HE double hockey sticks am I supposed to take care of other kids while taking the Unisom? But the problem was is I was taking the gels, I wasn't taking the tabs. But
mhm.
not only was I doing that wrong, but I also didn't start slow. I feel like if you start slow, you kind of build up a tolerance and it, like, helps your body, but it really helped. I mean, I really truly believe it helped.
But I
So
do also feel like it's also your provider's job to give you that knowledge, and I feel like a lot of providers, especially in our area, they just kinda tell our moms what to do and not really give them that,
yeah, they give you,
um
like, a list of, like, things
yeah,
that
they
you
give you
can
do, and then they just
or
kinda leave you
like,
to your own
specify.
devices, and then by that time, you're going to Facebook or Google, and that just takes you down a rabbit hole. I think if they kind of took that extra minute to say, "Hey, do this, but do this," maybe it would help. I had a really good doctor, he explained everything to me, or if I wasn't comfortable and I told him I wasn't, he was very good, but I do see a lot of moms that they'll be told to take Benadryl, they'll be told to take Unisom, they'll be told to take B12, but nobody tells them the how many milligrams they're supposed to be taking, how many which kind they're supposed to be taking, so then they're like, "Who do I ask?" And then sometimes they'll go to the pharmacy, and sometimes the pharmacist will help them, and sometimes they don't.
I think we should talk about when to ask for help with your nausea. So, an important reminder, nausea should be uncomfortable but not dangerous. If you can't keep fluids down, if you feel dizzy or weak, if
If
you're
you're losing
losing weight, call
all
your
your
provider. IV
IV
fluids are not dramatic.
medication
Medication is not weakness. You deserve relief.
if nausea is ruling your life right now,
You are not weak. You are not failing.
whether you're sick sometimes, constantly, or not at all,
Your pregnancy is valid.
waddlers, eat the snack, sit down, lower the bar, and we'll see you next time.
If you've ever gagged mid sentence, I want you to leave a green heart down below. Okay,
Talk to you
see you next time.
bye.